Whether you have a fast car like this, or just a truck that tows, drives normal, and everything in between. If you drive it on the street, there's a couple things people like to get, a couple things that you should get. One thing is a dash cam. And then a lot of people, for whatever reason, will get a radar detector. And this is what this video is gonna be about. So now I'm gonna straight up say, I'm not a big fan of radar detectors. I don't normally like to have them, but I am part of a program and this was available. And what that means is they give us a product, we get to use it, and then we just have to write a review on it. So that is the disclaimer for this video. I was sent this radar detector for free to write a review on. That said, I keep things unbiased. That disclaimer out of the way, let's get to this video. And what we're gonna do a bit of an unboxing, install, looking at the app, seeing it in action. I'm gonna talk about my thoughts and probably will finish it up while I'm on the road to kind of talk about why I don't normally like to use radar detectors. Oh, but the best thing is, I brought up dash cams. This isn't just a radar detector, it is also a dash cam. So it's a combo, you get both of them in one unit. So hope you enjoy this video. And let's get back to where we unboxed this and show you everything that came with it. All right, let's see what all comes in this box. Just all comes in this carry bag. That's pretty cool. Yeah, congratulations. Quick start guide. Little information card. I guess you can put other stuff in here. Carry all sorts of stuff. Just unzip that. Everything comes all in here. Here's the main unit. That's pretty big, actually. And that's it. So that's all that's in here, but hey, it's pretty cool. I kind of like the fact that it comes with a little carry bag here. So right here, this is the power adapter. Smart cord. Oh, so there's a little mute button on the actual button here. Interesting. So you can just hit this to mute, I guess. And what's really nice is when these extra power cords give you a little USB thing so you can still charge other stuff with it. This is weird though. Check this out. I bet you there's a lot of people watching this video that have literally never even seen one of these. This is not your typical Ethernet end. This is an old school telephone end. That's interesting. Of course, we know Escort has been around for a very long time. I've only been making radar detectors for as long as I can remember. All right, then here we have our suction cup mount, and this is what, so this mounts to the windshield here. That locks it, and this turns it, and from what I understand, this is a magnetic quick lock, which let's check it out in just a second. See what else we got here first. Then we have your typical USB. So we have USB 8, and this is the old mini USB. Again, I don't know why they don't move that up to USB-C, but considering this has an old telephone end, kind of not surprising. Here's the case for the SD card, which is something that is really awesome because this actually does come with an SD card. Normally dash cams and things like that don't come with one, you have to get your own. This one actually comes with it, but as I found out, it's pre-installed, so it's actually already in here. Let's take it out. And just a little SanDisk Industrial MicroSD HC. Now it is only 16 gigs, so you'll probably want to get a bigger one, but it's pretty cool that they still actually include one with it, which that's pretty rare. Okay, and here is the Escort MAXcam 360 itself. As you can see here, this is a little control pad with arrows. I'm not sure what this is, probably some kind of sensor maybe. I do believe that's a sensor. And then in front here, looks like that's gonna be a sensor. That's a sensor of some kind. And this is the actual dash cam part itself. I'm gonna leave the plastic on until I install it in the car. All your cables hook in on what will be the passenger side of the car, because you'll be looking at it like this. Mark, power, program. I don't know if that's mark. I'm guessing sensor, bright. I need to read up the manual to see what all these buttons do. And I know stuff lights up in here. That's a screen. We'll see all that once we get this installed. Let's check out this mount really quick. So here is the mag mount. That's pretty cool. I actually really like this. It's kind of heavy though. So hopefully the suction cup is nice and strong because that's a lot of force that comes out here and hopefully doesn't pull it off the windshield. So anyway, let's grab all this, get it all mounted up in the car, and then we're gonna have to download the app and get this started and get on the road and see how it works. Actually, before we do that really quick, let's take a look at this quick start guide because this gives you a little bit of info really quick. So what do we have here? We already know this is a mount, camera lens, laser lens, program, hold for emergency. Okay, so you hold this for emergency recording. Power, obviously. Oh, that does stand for mark. I don't know how to use that, but we'll figure it out. Oh, sensitivity, not sensor. Brightness, like I figured. And then, okay, yeah, so this is the rear laser lens. So this gets you a part of that 360 coverage. And then this is, oh, it's not just the arrow buttons. It's actually a rotary dial too. And, okay, and that's mute. Oh, and that's interesting. It has a little headphone jack. I didn't even notice that because it's got this little rubber plug in here. I don't know why you would want to put a headphone jack in here, but it has that feature. So now let's get to the car. All right, here we are in my car. We're about to mount this up. We have to figure out where to mount it. Now, obviously, I already have a bunch of stuff because I have this iAudi phone mount. And here's my other dash cam, my old Ricilar, which, by the way, I'm going to grab footage from that dash cam, my Nextbase that's in my RAM, and from this later, and compare the three and see how they all compare. So, by the way, if you're new to my channel, yes, my car is stripped out. I drag race it. I'm all about weight reduction. Check out my other videos while you're here. So I took the dash cam down, and I actually don't think I'm going to move this because it looks like it might fit just right under here. So I think, yeah, I think this is where I'm going to put it right there. Okay, I moved over here so you can see it better, and I can see it better. Try it about there. So push it up, lock it. So that is locked. Hopefully it stays. Pull that off. We definitely don't need that on anymore. SD card is in there. Let me just go ahead, plug this in. And I will say this cord is a bit short. It would be nice if they had a longer cord where you can maybe tuck it in and hide it. They do sell a hardwire kit, so that hardwire kit probably has a cable that's long enough where you hide it and goes all the way till you wire it in. Anyway, let's put it in and let's adjust it. There we go. It's all in there. And now we shall plug it in. Now, this 12 volt here only gets power with the ignition on, so we're not going to see anything come on at the moment. Okay, so now next step, I definitely want to bring the quick start guide and have it with me. And that might be something you might want to do when you first get it, because I can't see these buttons. I can feel them, but I can't see them. So I'm going to need that quick start guide, kind of a little photo to tell me, okay, what button is where. All right, let's turn on power. There it is. MAXcam 360c. Let's get to this app and let us download. Okay, so we go into the App Store. Okay, it's called the Drive Smarter. Okay, careful, because Drive Smarter brings up a couple different ones, and then you see this Escort. You think it may be this one, but take a look at this logo. It actually matches this one up. So, apparently, that's the one we want to get. And Cedar Electronics, and that is who makes the Escort radar detector. All right, let's open her up. Yes, allow while using the app, blah, blah, blah. Send notification, sure. Connect this with compatible Escort devices, blah, blah, blah. And I think this does a lot of stuff Waze does. There's a community, and I think, because like I've always used Waze, and Waze has reports of, you know, speed traps. So with this app, you can actually see the videos off of there as well. I do know that. Increase awareness with alerts from connected devices and drivers on the network. Heads up navigation, blah, blah, blah. Notify emergency content and severe impact. Okay. So anyway, I do not have an account, so I'm gonna have to register. I have read continue. Okay, I'm gonna go off screen for this part because you don't need to see this. Okay, so once you register, they send you a typical verification email. You have to verify through your email first, and then you can log in. Once you log in, ask you for a couple more permissions, and now we're at the part where let's scan for devices. May take up 30 seconds, but it's right there, so hopefully it's pretty quick. No devices found. Okay, so let's...
Powering down.
Okay, let's turn it on. It's back on. Search again. There we go. Found it this time. There it is. MAXcam 360 combo device. Continue. Bluetooth pairing request. Pair. Device is connected. Do you plan to use mobile hotspot to connect to your device? Yeah, let's do it. All right, so it's connected hotspot, my vehicle nickname. Done. Save. Congratulations, device has been added successfully. Start. All right, let's get started. Let's get on the road. All right, we're about 45 minutes into my first drive ever with this Escort MAXcam 360. A couple impressions already so far. Number one, the Drive Smarter app will not go into landscape mode. So as you can see, everything's in portrait, and apparently they don't have landscape mode. They have no way to rotate it. And I will say, compared to Waze that I use all the time, I haven't seen anywhere near the amount of alerts or anything so far. So right now I'm thinking the community that's using this app is much smaller. So it doesn't seem to have as many alerts. And unfortunately, when I was looking at reviews in the App Store to see about if other people were having this landscape issue, they just say a lot of people do not like this app. So I'm gonna play around with it before I get my full final thoughts on the app, but it already has a big hit with the fact that it won't go out of landscape mode. But as far as the radar detector goes, so far it's picked up a few different alerts. I didn't realize at first that the arrows on the dial there, turns out they're actually LED, they're lights, so that when it picks up radar, it actually points the arrow, lights up the arrow in what direction it's picking it up from, if it can find out. So far it's picked up a couple laser. It knows when a laser goes on, it can't tell the direction of the laser, so all 4 arrows light up. Now the K-bands, they picked up some behind me, one's picked up some in front of me, and one's off to the side, but it didn't know which side, so it lit up both right and left. So it was like, it's coming from the side, but it doesn't know which side exactly. Now so far, all the alerts that it's given me, I have not seen any police anywhere. Now most of it's been city, now I'm on a freeway, so I haven't seen it with actual visual of the radar. But I will say this, compared to the last time I had a radar, or been in someone's car with a radar, because I haven't had a radar detector in a very, like, literally since the 90s. This one does seem to be a better so far at not picking up false alerts. Now we're on a tollway here, so we just went under a toll booth, so that's kind of interesting. I was wondering, do the toll booths use any kind of radar? The radar detector doesn't pick up anything from the toll booths, which is probably the way it should be. But other than that, let's keep going, and I'm gonna keep this on, and hopefully we'll pick up a radar. Oh, one other cool thing I'll show you when we pick up a radar. So the smart cord is pretty cool. So it has this little yellow light. Actually, it's like a green light that just power, but above it is a little alert light. So when you're getting a radar picked up, when you're getting an alert, that will actually flash red. So if that's in a spot where you can see it, obviously here I can't see it, so it doesn't matter. And even if I had my interior trim, it would be kind of off this side. I wouldn't see it anyway. But if you plug that in a place you can see it, that's kind of cool, because it gives you just one other spot to look at it. Oh, we got a little bit of alert picking up K. You can see the arrows going straight ahead. If you look at here, there's the power cord. See, it's flashing red, so that's cool that it does that. Also, if you have the app going, it does also display the alert on the app. Oh, laser. Where's it coming from? Oh man, we got all sorts of stuff going on here. Okay, now one other thing we need to talk about with this radar detector and dash cam is storage. Now we already know from our unboxing that this actually comes with a 16 gig MicroSD card, which is this one right here. But it's only 16 gigs, so you may want to get a bigger one if you need it. But if you're like me and if you actually use your footage in videos and for other reasons, you'll want some a little bit more storage. So I went ahead and bought a bigger card. I got this 128 gig Samsung Pro Endurance. And if you need a card for a dash cam, based on my research, I would definitely recommend this. I use all Samsung SD cards and all my GoPros and everything, but I use the Pro Pluses. This one I got the Pro Endurance because after doing a bunch of research, I found out this card is actually designed and made for the purpose of monitoring cameras that basically are continuously recording like this. So this is actually made for that type of use to withstand thousands of hours of writing and overwriting. So let me show you really quick how that works when you get a new card. Okay, now with most dash cams, you want to change out SD cards with the power off. You don't want to do it with the power on. They get confused and things will happen and you end up having to shut it off. So always put them in with the power off. Now with that SD card in, let's plug it in and get power. And it should most likely notice that there's a new card in there. There you go. It instantly knows like, hey, there's a new card in here. We need to format this. So just click the button. Are you sure? Yes. SD card formatting.
Completed.
That's it. That's all there is to it. And now once it formats, it restarts. And there we go. Now, one of the things I really love about this Escort is if you have multiple vehicles, it's so easy to move it. I mean, check this out. It's literally just, first of all, that's how easy it is to take it out, put it in your case so that you don't leave it in your car. That's it. But then the cord fell out. Just pull it out of the 12-volt adapter there. And then you have a suction cup. You really can't get much easier than that. Now I just walk to my other vehicle and throw it on, which we'll do. And yes, it does all fit inside the case. Taking it out of one vehicle, pull out the cord, the suction cup, the Escort, and then we're gonna want it right about here. Actually, I don't want it there because it's gonna be in the way of my dash cam. So this time we're gonna stick it right up here. Just plug this in. And there we go. That's how easy it is to move it between vehicles. Okay, so now we talked about the radar detector, it's time to talk about the dash cam. So what I'm going to do now is show you the dash cam video footage from the Escort MAXcam 360 and my two other dash cams I had. First up, I'm going to compare it to the Nextbase 522GW, which is a really good camera, but is only 2K. And then what I have now is I have my Ricilar dash cam, and this one is actually a 4K dash cam. So we're going to compare the differences between the Escort and each of those dash cams. Okay, so first up we have the Nextbase 522GW versus the Escort. Now the Nextbase is the video up on top and the Escort is the video on the bottom. And I decided to do a top and bottom view because that way we get the full width of the video, because that's going to come into play in just a minute and one of the things I'm going to talk about, whereas the height doesn't necessarily matter as much. So the video you're seeing, you are seeing the full width of the actual video clips from the cameras, but you are not seeing the full height. So that said, the very first thing you notice, at least the very first thing I noticed, the Escort is much brighter. It's brighter, it's more colorful, it's more vibrant. The colors just pop better. It's just a better looking video overall. Now, another thing you'll notice, we were talking about the width earlier, the Escort actually has a slightly wider field of vision here. And so it's capturing a little bit more of what's going on around you. Now, there is a little downside to this. If you notice, the Escort video looks slightly distorted, and that's going to be because of the way that it's getting a wider field of view. It's kind of distorting things a little bit to make that all fit. So with that distortion, the Nextbase in that case actually looks a little bit better because it looks more real. Everything is more the correct size, let's say. Now, probably more importantly is how clear the picture is, how sharp it is, the contrast and all that stuff, how well you can make out all the little details. Now here the Escort does look clear, it does look a little bit sharper, but where we really care about that is license plates. So both cameras, you can actually see the license plates pretty good when you're up close. The Nextbase might actually be a little bit clearer at times. Now, quick disclaimer, I'm looking at these videos while I'm editing this whole video in Final Cut Pro, so I don't know for sure that these video clips are being rendered to their full resolution while I'm editing them, but I think we're okay, so it shouldn't be a big issue. And going back to license plates really quick, one thing you have to realize, so you can't really make out the license plates till they're really close up, but then in real world, like I'm driving right now and I'm looking ahead of me and I can't really see the license plate or make them out enough to see what they're saying even with my glasses on until I get a lot closer to them. And what I'm looking at in the video is pretty similar to what I'm seeing in real life. It's about the same point in real life that I can actually read the license plate numbers that I can also make it out in the video. Now, I haven't tried to zoom in yet. Maybe I'll try to do that. But overall, this Escort dash cam versus this Nextbase, which the Nextbase is a good quality camera. And if you want to see the video on that, I'll link it up here. And overall, it usually gets pretty good reviews. Now, of course, this isn't their top of the line model. There is a better version, which I don't have that, but you know, it is what it is. But in the end, I think the Escort wins out over this Nextbase. And being a broken record, again, it's not a 4K camera, but we do have another 4K dash cam, and that is going to be the one we talk about next. Okay, so now here we have the Ricilar CR612 dash cam. Again, I did a separate video on this one as well. I'll link that up there. And this is it's a good camera. It's a decent camera. It's a budget camera. It's not very expensive, but it is a 4K camera.
And one thing I learned about dash cams is the sensors they use are pretty much all the same. There's like a couple main sensors that all these cameras use, so you're not going to see a lot of differences between a lot of them. And I don't know the exact name of them. I think one of them sensors is a Sony brand, and this Escort does have that better chipset or whatever you call it. And we're not going to get that technical in this review here. So again, the video on the top is the Ricilar, and the video on the bottom is the Escort as it was before. And first thing you notice, same as before, it's actually fairly similar to the comparison with the Nextbase. Again, the Escort just is brighter, it has better colors, they just pop, it's more vibrant. It's just a better video overall in that regard. Also similarly, the Escort again has a wider view, so it looks like a lot of these dash cams keep just a more standard view to keep things from being distorted. So the Escort is a wider view, which in some ways is nice because you're capturing, again, more footage, more stuff that's going on around you, but it does distort things just a little bit. Now, one way that I noticed as I was watching these clips is when a vehicle's off to the side, the license plates, reading them is a little bit harder on the Escort. So whereas when the license plates are directly in front of you, everything looks clear, but when they're off to the side, because of that little bit of distortion, it seems like it makes the license plate just a little tougher to read versus the Ricilar, and I'm sure the previous dash cam as well. I just didn't notice any spots of that before when I was looking at it, and this just happens to be where I first noticed it. Now, another thing I noticed between this Ricilar 4K and the Escort is when I paused it at times, it seems like this Escort actually has a little bit better of a frame rate. So there were some times when I paused it that the Ricilar would almost be like in between frames. You get a little bit of that blur, whereas the Escort is a much clearer picture. So I don't know the exact frame rates between them, but it does look like the Escort is a little bit better because I'm not getting some of those blurry issues when I'm pausing video. So again, as far as these two are concerned, I have to give it up to the Escort. The dash cam on the Escort honestly just looks better overall and is better quality than this Ricilar 4K cam. And now, just for the heck of it, I'm going to do one last comparison here, because I have this phone that I'm looking at right now, and sometimes I'll record video, dash cam style video from my phone. So let's go ahead and compare the Escort dash cam with a phone's dash cam. Again, the phone video will be on top, the Escort on the bottom. I have not had a chance to look at the difference here, so I'll let you decide what looks better. I can't talk about it because I just decided to do this. And the phone, by the way, is an iPhone 14 Pro Max, and it is in 4K mode. So I'm pretty sure the phone is probably going to beat out the Escort in this case, but the phone is not a dash cam. It's not a dedicated dash cam, so it should win. But I'll let you be the judge of that. Now that you've had a chance to see all these comparisons, now we need to finally wrap this video up, and for that we'll come back later and I'm going to show you one last little bit of the dash cam quality, and that is going to be at night, because people drive at night need to see what the dash cam is like when it is dark outside. As you can see, not only is it dark, it's also rainy. Nobody can see me all right. I had to turn my interior lights on. I don't like driving with them on, but wanted to at least be able to see me a little bit, you know? Now for this, I'm not going to do any comparison because I don't have any of my other dash cams in this truck, because I don't use either of the dash cams in this truck. And because I'm talking about it as it's recording, I haven't really looked at it, so I can't really comment on the video, so I'll let you be the judge of it. So first thing I want to touch on is something I brought up a little bit early in the video, and that is why I haven't had a radar detector in over 20 years. And the thing is, back in the mid-90s, I was young, I was stupid, I was reckless, you know, I was a kid. I don't drive anything like that anymore. I don't have the same reasons to have a radar detector as I did back then. But then the problem is back then, see, I was getting pulled over, and I thought, let me get a radar detector, help out. Well, guess what actually ended up happening? With the radar detector, I had a false sense of security, and I ended up getting pulled over even more than I was without it. So I kind of swore off radar detectors, and obviously the tech was a little bit older, they're better now, and so I haven't had one ever since. And again, I only have this one because first it is a combo unit with the dash cam, and because I got it through the program that I talked about at the beginning of this video. Now, when you think radar detectors, a lot of people are like, well, if you're getting one, you must be doing something illegal. And there are good, valid reasons why you would want a radar detector, even if you're not a speed demon. With cars nowadays, every car is more powerful. I mean, like a car with a V6 today has more horsepower and torque than a V8 car did 30 years ago. And they ride so smooth that it's just so easy to get in a groove. You're driving, and next thing you know, you look down and you realize you're going 20 above the speed limit. So a radar detector is good for those cases, because there are times that someone's going to get pulled over and just going to be wrong place, wrong time. They weren't really doing anything intentionally. They weren't doing any kind of crazy highway takeover, none of that stuff. So there's good reasons for it. Okay, so that's my spiel on radar detectors in general. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is with modern technology in a modern day, I hear people all the time say getting a radar detector is pointless. They now have laser. Oh, that was an X-band it just picked up. And they're pointless because of laser, and these radar detectors, although they can detect laser, the way it works, by the time they detect laser, it's too late. You're getting your speed checked at that moment. Like, there's not really any warning with laser, which is kind of why, as you saw earlier, when laser went off, man, this radar detector went crazy. It didn't know which direction it was coming from. It just starts yelling at you like, oh, laser. But here's the thing, laser is not that common. I have now had this radar detector / dash cam for several months, drive all over the town with it. I've gone on a trip to Kentucky with it from Texas. And honestly, the times that it's detected or picked up a laser has been like 3. Literally, that's it. And I'm driving around towns that are wealthier towns. Like, I'm driving through Frisco, Texas, which is where the Cowboys are headquartered, the Dallas Stars are headquartered. It's a very affluent area, very affluent town. The police department, they have money, they have the best of everything pretty much. And even they're not using laser. And really, majority of the time that I have picked up radar, it's been almost always K or KA band. And then the X band, I just need to turn it off. And that's why I've seen other people do. Normally they just go in settings, turn off X band, because I have yet to see a single actual radar, speed trap, anything using X band. Now, all that said, I still do need to play with some of the features. I haven't played around with all of them yet, but there's a lot. So as far as the radar detector goes, it's good. I would definitely recommend it if you just need a radar detector. Now, I will say you don't want to use it on its own. What I like to have is I like to also have Waze running, which gets us into the app. The app sucks, period. Besides the whole portrait landscape feature that is broken and doesn't work, a small community, and all these other reasons, the Drive Smarter app just isn't that good. It's not worth it. But I wouldn't buy this device solely because, or not buy it because of that app. And really, it doesn't compare whatsoever to Waze. It really doesn't. Waze just has a huge community, very accurate. You get reports of speed traps, hazards, everything with Waze that you're not getting with the Drive Smarter app. And I think the two put together, Waze plus this radar detector, between those two, you're pretty well covered and you're good to go. Obviously, not foolproof. It's not a license to go do whatever you want, and I do not condone that. Okay, so first of all, just get that out of the way. If I haven't said already, I do not condone speeding and doing things illegally and all that stuff. But for those times that you're just kind of cruising along and going a little faster than you realize, between Waze and radar detector, those two together, that's the way to do it. But then, this thing's not just a radar detector. As we spent the last half of this video talking about, it's also a dash cam. And it's a really good dash cam at that. The fact that it's a combo unit, you're not sacrificing quality in either way in anything. And I think the dash cam quality on this Escort is better than my standalone dash cams, the 2 that I have. And that's another reason why I would recommend this MAXcam 360, because you're getting both in one. It's saving space. It is a little bit bigger unit because of the radar detector part of it, but you have both together, and it's so easy to move between vehicles, as I shown earlier. All that said, all this great positive stuff and how much I love this thing, it's not without its faults, other than the app, which again is so bad I keep bringing it up. So the dash cam, it's only one single dash cam, forward facing, that's it. As far as I know, there is no extensions, or at least there's no plans for extensions to have like a rear facing cam or one facing inside the cab. Like most dash cams, they may not come with that, but they usually have those features. They have plugs, inputs to accept it, and then they sell the stuff separately. So that's one downside. So if you want the other views, this may not be the dash cam for you. Now, I believe this dash cam does have like parking and things like that, but you do need to get a hardwire kit. I don't have that, so I can't speak on it, and I don't really use it for that anyway. And then the only other thing is when I need to save a protected clip, it does have its GPS, it does have its sensors that will automatically record or save a clip if it senses some kind of a crash or the big bump or something like that. I haven't quite figured out how to manually record a clip, because I think the button's way up top. So that's the other downside, is all the buttons are on top. They're not the easiest to get to, especially where it's at. I'm in a truck, I gotta like reach way over like that to get to those buttons. And I think that's really about all I have to say about this thing. If you guys have any questions, anything specifically, let me know in the comments. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was helpful, informative. Again, I am not a radar detector guru. This is my first one I've had in decades. Oh, KA band. Not sure where that's coming from, but I'm just stopped here anyway. So thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. As always, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you at Drag Strip.